Shalom. Shalom. First thing and foremost, I want to give all the highest praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakai Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles, double honors to the elders of Great Millstone for teaching this truth according to the Bible. A sincere shalom to all the fellow laborers who push this truth and believe in this truth here in the last days in Babylon the Great, as we are called to do so. And speaking of Babylon the Great, the United States of America is looking very, very bad. Okay. Ironically, right before the 250th anniversary coming up here on July 4th. All right. In about a week and a half, the United States of America is looking very, very foolish and weak on the world stage with regard to this whole war going on that they have with Iran, okay, over the Strait of Hormuz. And if you haven't heard the news, recently there was just a preliminary signing of the terms of conditional surrender, okay, that Donald Trump, okay, well, now when it's talking about, I believe when it's called preliminary, I don't think it's an official surrender, but I think it's they're talking about the terms that would be needed for the United States to withdraw from the region. Okay, essentially what's happening is the fact that the United States of America is even considering and putting together paperwork to put forth a deal, okay, of conditional surrender toward Iran clearly means that Iran has won this war. And, even when this thing started, it was clear from the beginning when Iran dropped bombs on all the United States bases that were in the Middle East. OK, it was clear that Iran was not going anywhere and that the United States did not have the power to hold the region. All right. In this, what's happening is, the world is seeing this. Russia is seeing, OK, the United States be humiliated by Iran, okay, the Persians, okay, China is also seeing this. And this is only going to embolden further conflict, especially, I believe, with Taiwan and China, okay, knowing that the United States is not as strong as it claims to be. All right, China is only going to be more and more emboldened to go forward with their plan of taking Taiwan. And they will take Taiwan. Okay, they make no mistake about that. They will take Taiwan because they believe Taiwan to be a part of China. Okay. And you can go into the history on that and see why, there was such a conflict between Taiwan and China and, what's going on with that now today. Really, essentially, the only reason that Taiwan, okay, is a sovereign country. All right. That little tiny island off the coast of China. All right. The only reason why it's a country is because the United States of America is backing it up militarily. And now the United States military is looking very, very weak and subpar. All right. So before I play this video, which was posted by GMS All Precepts, okay, titled "The Roots of America's Greatness," okay, have been forgotten. And this is true because America is no longer that post-World War II era golden boy. All right. They're no longer the big bad bully on the block. All right. Everybody's big now. Everybody's bad now. Everybody has a military. Everybody has missiles. Everybody has an entire division dedicated toward their military. OK, and they can and will defend themselves against the United States of America. America just thought they were going to be this homogenous powerhouse for the rest of eternity. And it's just not true. America, OK, the pride of this place has brought this place to its knees. They outsource their manufacturing. They outsource a lot of their weapons production. They outsource so many things that the United States of America really relied upon post-World War II. OK, think about the 50s, which was probably the height of the United States of America. The 50s was probably the most prosperous. OK, and just talking about all around. OK, for what you would call today the middle class, probably the most prosperous, most powerful, most the distance between the United States military and the rest of the world's militaries was probably the largest gap. okay, at that point. And now today you have militaries like Russia and China that can easily match up, if not surpass, the United States of America. All right, so let's get my first scripture here. Let's go to Isaiah, okay, 14 and verse 10. It says, all they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Okay, and this is speaking specifically about these nations that are watching what's going on, okay, in the Levant, in the Middle East, all right, in that region, Mesopotamia, between Persia, which is Iran, and the United States, aka the military force behind the little hats, all right, and you know, the United States getting blown to smithereens and pushed out of the region does not look good. Like I said, it makes you look weak as an American. Okay, it really makes you look weak as an American. All right. And these other nations, all right, you know, that really for the longest time believed that America was untouchable. And since Iran was the first to step up, all right, Iran was the first to step up, all right, and prove to the whole world that the United States is not what they seem to be. All that shit talking that they do, okay, is not all that it's pumped up to be. All right, let's get another one. Jeremiah 50 and verse 45. It says, therefore, hear ye the counsel of the Lord Yahweh, that he hath taken against Babylon, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock, which is the fake state of Israel today, the small hats, the least of the flock, which is the tribe of Amalek, shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. That's going to be the ultimate end goal. All right. The ultimate final prophecy of America being destroyed. All right. America being destroyed as a result of World War III. And this might just, you know, kick things off, because you really think that Russia is going to accept anything other than full victory over Ukraine after seeing what Iran just did to the United States? You know, and Russia has never really been worried about Ukraine. All right. They've been really slow walking and fighting a war of attrition over there. You know, and now that the United States is really getting their ass whooped, Ukraine really doesn't have any more backing of strength. All right. From the United States. All right, let's go. I want to go to the blue letter real quick and grab this in Ezekiel. All right, let's go to Ezekiel. I believe it's the 34th chapter. Ezekiel. No, it's Slagia 35. Yeah, Ezekiel 35. All right, starting from the top, because we're dealing with Esau. Okay, in his failures. The Lord said he's going to bring Esau down from his power and pride. Okay, and he's going to use war to do so. Okay, this place is going to be made desolate. All right. Ezekiel 35:1 says, moreover, the word of the Lord came to me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it, and say unto it, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, power, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out mine hand against thee, and will make thee most desolate. So these Edomites truly believe, okay, when the common theme, all right, the common theme in the West is a belief in the modern interpretation of Christianity that the so-called white nations, okay, white Anglo-Saxon, which are really Edomites, all right, the white Anglo-Saxon Christian Western nations, they're the ones that represent God and Christianity, and they're the moral, they have the moral piety and the high ground. But the Lord says he is against them, all right, which is why things like what's happening with Iran could happen. All right. These Edomites are going to be in for a big surprise when they find out that everything that they've learned is a lie. All right. When they find out that they're actually not the most powerful, when they find out that they're actually the enemies of the Lord, the God of the Bible, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. OK. Verse 4, it says, I will lay thy cities waste and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord Yahweh, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. So really, we were already supposed to be made sovereign and set free from these fucking devils. But according to prophecy, there were things that had to play out. All right. But that sin, that iniquity was still counted against them. All right. And they still have to pay for it, even though prophecy still has to play out. All right. Let's go skip down to verse 12, Ezekiel 35 and 12. And it says, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord, and that I have heard all thy blasphemies. Big theme here. Okay. Blasphemies out of the mouth of these Christians, blasphemies out of the mouth of these Western nations. Okay. You think about, the unclean spirits in these Revelation, the 16th chapter, the 3 unclean spirits like frogs that, proceedeth out of the mouth of the false prophet. Okay. The false prophet, okay, is the Vatican Church, where Western Christianity, Roman Catholic Christianity, got its roots, its start. Okay. And it permeated throughout the Western nations, really throughout the world, but primarily in the Western nations. Okay, Edomite nations. Okay, I've heard all thy blasphemy. So when they said, that the Israelites were so-called white people, those Germans, those Polish, those Ukrainian, Slovakian, Eastern Bloc people, okay, those are really Edomites. All right, and they blaspheme the Israelites. They blaspheme the Lord by changing his name. Okay, Yahweh Shai, his name is Yahweh Shai. It's not Jesus Christ. They also blaspheme the name of the Heavenly Father. His name is Yahweh, not Jehovah, not any other name that they try to put. Okay. It says, which thou hast spoken against the mountains of Israel, saying they are laid desolate, and they are given us to consume. Yeah, they thought that, that Judith, the 5th chapter, if you read Judith, the 5th chapter, start at verse 17. Okay. It talks about how the other nations knew, okay, that when the Israelites were in sin and they were not in good standing with Yahweh, okay, our power, he would send the other nations, okay, he would send the other nations to punish us. And the Edomites ultimately thought that the Lord had done away with us, that the Lord was no longer dealing with the nation of Israel, and so that they could do whatever they wanted, okay, but they were indeed wrong. Okay, verse 13 says, thus with your mouth ye have boasted against me, and have multiplied your words against me. I have heard them. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh power, when the whole earth rejoiceth, I will make thee desolate, as thou didst rejoice at the inheritance of the house of Israel. So again, if you read the 36th chapter, which is the next chapter, it talks about how they took over the land. Okay, the Edomites are in that land currently. All right, and they're going to be kicked out through war. Okay, through the return of Yahweh Shai. Okay, he's ultimately going to come in and finish these devils off. All right, Isaiah the 63rd chapter, 2nd Ezra. Okay, the 13th chapter. It's all about the Lord coming back to destroy the Edomite power structure and the stranglehold that they have over the planet Earth. As thou didst rejoice at the inheritance of the house of Israel, because it was desolate, so will I do unto thee. Thou shalt be desolate, O Mount Seir, and all Idumea, even all of it, and they shall know that I am the Lord. Yeah, so these Edomites are about to find out the hard way that they were really never the superior people as they like to claim to be so much. All right, so let's get this video real quick. It's real short.
President Trump's. It's all the spirit. All right, so let's add some more here. Okay, because hey, no peace in sight, right?
Last night, President Trump signed a conditional surrender agreement with Iran. Iran has won the war against the United States of America. Oh, Lord, he lost another one. That's right, America. The President of the United States signed a memo of understanding, and the understanding is that he fucking lost the war. Iran won it all. They got everything they've ever fucking asked for. They're allowed to keep their missiles. They own the Strait of Hormuz. They're gonna charge tolls. And on top of all that, America is gonna give them $300 billion. Let me say that again.
This place is done. America is finished. America will never go back to the days of normalcy. America will never go back to the days of being considered the best, the top nation. America is finished. All right. This proves it. And it's an Donald Trump is an embarrassment to you Edomites. You fought so hard to get this guy in office, and he's back in office, and now he's losing wars. Okay. America is done.
$100 billion. Guess what? If you're watching this in America, you just paid for every Iranian's health care. But don't worry, it gets even better. President Trump signed that in the Palace of Versailles. And historically, that has always worked out super well. If you don't understand that joke, it's because our Department of Education is run by the WWE. But don't worry, the rest of our government is still being run by Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, who will now be known as the Secretary of Surrender, the Deputy of Defeat, the loser of the losingest, Pete Hegseth. And now we're going to check in on the
Yeah, that guy Pete Hegseth, he was talking mad shit. All right, he was talking big bad, like he was the, like America was the best military. They're the strongest. They can't be beat. They're just destroying Iran. And we, throughout the whole thing, were calling bullshit on all of it. All right, because Iran was absolutely mollywhopping both Israel and the United States. America has no bases left. America has no bases left, okay, in all of the Middle East. All right. You have no bases left. The only ally you have really is Israel, and they're getting smoked, and maybe Jordan. All right, but really Jordan's kind of like in the middle, just because they're in between the two nations. But I think Jordan is more towards the side of Israel. But this is bad. This is bad for you, America. It's good for us. Okay, we love it. We love to see you Americans getting embarrassed on the world stage. All right. And so we come out every week, okay, when we go to camp, all right, and we talk about the downfall of America. You think we're playing around. We're joking. No, America is about to be destroyed. All right, let's go back to the blue letter. All right, let's go to Slovakia. Let's go to Jeremiah. Let's go 49. All right. I believe it starts around 7. Yeah. Jeremiah 49:7 says, concerning Edom, thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? Yeah, because it really seems like the decisions that were made that led up to this war, the decisions that were made during this war, and the decisions that are being made now are all very unwise decisions. Okay, men of war are clearly not running these departments. Okay, Donald Trump is the Temanite. All right, and the Germans, which is Teman, the Germans, okay, they're known for being the smart ones. Okay, they're known for being very educated, very smart in things like engineering and all kinds of things like that. All right, but it really seems like those brains that they got are not working for them. All right, verse 8, flee ye, turn back, dwell deep, O inhabitants of Dedan, for I will bring the calamity of Esau upon him, the time that I will visit. It says the time that I will visit him. So the Lord is visiting this place. It's already started. You Edomites are starting to experience the curses, right? Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 7. Slack, yeah. Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 7. And it says, and the Lord Yahweh thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecute thee. Let's get an example of the curses that are coming to you Edomites. This whole chapter, right, from 15 on down, talks about the curses that are going to come, okay, upon the Israelites. But he said that he's also going to put them on our enemies. And the number one enemy of the Israelites is the Edomites. Okay. Let's get a perfect curse. Okay. It's Deuteronomy 28 and verse we'll start at 51. Deuteronomy 28 and 51. It says, and he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land. Right. Every resource, every commodity that we had, okay, is no longer under our control. We've been under the control of these Edomites for generations. They eat the fruit of our cattle and the fruit of everything we produce with our labor goes to the Edomite. It goes to the small hat. All right. Until thou be destroyed, which also shall not leave thee either corn, wine, or oil, or the increase of thy kind, or flocks of thy sheep, until he have destroyed thee. Now think about how that's transferring to the Edomites today. These Edomites are paying taxes out the ass. Okay, these Edomites are getting absolutely taken advantage of by their own brethren, the tribe of Amalek, the small hats, and they know it. All these Americans, these Edomite Americans, they know it now. They know that these JOOs are absolutely graping the shit out of America, okay, with as far as their economically, okay, and politically. All right. 52. It says, and he shall besiege thee in all thy gates until thy high and fenced walls come down, wherein thou trustest throughout all thy land. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates throughout all thy land, which the Lord thy power hath given thee. So this came upon the Israelites, but now it's going to come upon the Edomites. You see, you're being besieged in your lands. This is why you got all these immigrants coming into your lands and they're taking over. This is why you're losing wars on a national stage. This is why you're being embarrassed. So just like you cheered when the children of Israel went down, okay, just like the Edomites cheered when the children of Israel went down, when the Babylonians came in and ransacked Jerusalem. Now it's your turn to be ransacked and destroyed. That's why the Lord always talks about making you desolate. Okay, let's go to Lamentations, the 4th chapter. Okay, Lamentations 4. And 21, it says, rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz. The cup is those curses, by the way. The cup is those curses. You're going to lose wars. You're going to lose everything. Your sovereignty, you know. It says, the cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken and shalt make thyself naked. The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. Yeah, the curses are going to come off of us. We're still under the curses. Don't get it twisted. We're still under the curses, but it's a short time, right? I was watching the elder, Amawan Gabar, talking about how we're almost there. We're almost home, almost ready to receive this salvation. Okay. And we're going to be, the curses are going to be removed off of us. And they're going to be placed fully on our enemies. At this point, you could say that we're both under the curses. You know, you got Edomites under the curses, right? And you got Israelites under the curses at this point. And it's going to start to slowly transition from the Jakes, okay, unto you Edomites. All right, fully. Okay, it says, the punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. He will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. he will discover thy sins. Let's go back to this video, okay? Oops, I went too far.
This is the time.
Last night, President Trump signed a conditional surrender agreement with Iran. Iran has won the war against the United States of America. Oh, Lord, he lost another one. That's right, America. The President of the United States signed a memo of understanding, and the understanding is that he fucking lost the war. Iran won it all. They got everything they've ever fucking asked for. They're allowed to keep their missiles. They own the Strait of Hormuz. They're gonna charge tolls. And on top of all that, America is gonna give them $300 billion. Let me say that again. $300 billion. Guess what? If you're watching this in America, you just paid for every Iranian's health care. But don't worry, it gets even better. President Trump signed that in the Palace of Versailles. And historically, that has always worked out super well. If you don't understand that joke, it's because our Department of Education is run by the WWE. But don't worry, the rest of our government is still being run by Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, who will now be known as the Secretary of Surrender, the Deputy of Defeat, the loser of the losingest, Pete Hegseth. And now we're going to check in on the reflecting pool down by the White House and the Washington Monument to see if the water has turned blue, and it is green. It's still green, just like the Iranian's bank account, because it's USA, 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 0, Iran, 1.
There you go. So America is a mockery, a laughingstock, man. So much for, okay, America's greatness, right? They lost the war. You know, they had to give up that 300-something billion to Iran. Okay, and this is being discussed all over the internet, man. All right, again, it's over, right? Let's add some more. Okay, this is about 4 hours ago. It says Iran walks out on negotiations after Trump tweets, right? Check this out.
If there's one thing I wish more people did in this world, it's walk right out of interviews. Whether it's that fully remote role with days in office, or the salary that's suddenly 20% below what the job listing advertised, if they don't respect you, you don't owe them any respect back. And the Iranians seem to be taking that track to heart, because they have walked out of the first round of negotiations with the United States. And frankly, based on the agreement that was signed, they're probably justified. Let's talk about this one. Now, according to numerous reports, the Iranian negotiators have reportedly just refused to return to the negotiating table unless President Trump himself apologizes for threatening the negotiators and Israel withdraws from southern Lebanon. But obviously the source for these reports is actually a pro-Lebanese Hezbollah outlet, so it's unclear if these are factually correct, Alec.
Either way, right? Either way, no peace. All right? Isaiah 48:22. All right, as we keep warning you, Isaiah 48:22, there is no peace, saith the Lord.
Let's go get another scripture. Let's get Obadiah. Okay. Obadiah chapter 1, verse 3. It says, the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Well, Iran is bringing you down quite convincingly. All right. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle. All right. America's symbol is the eagle. And though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. If thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? all the men of thy confederacy. Hey, listen, these nations that are all ultimately in allyship with the United States of America are going to turn against the United States of America. You can't lose. If you're the superpower, right? If you're the superpower of the world, you got the hegemon. You're the cultural juggernaut. You're the political juggernaut. You're the military juggernaut. You're the financial and economic juggernaut. You cannot lose a war like this. There will be no respect to you. And not only Russia and China and North Korea and Iran have now seen America for what it really is, but Italy, France, Germany, Great Britain, all these countries that are allied with the United States of America have just seen the United States of America get embarrassed. Okay? These nations are about to turn, all right? All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding. Yeah, they're going to make money off of America as long as they can. But trust me, these nations already are working on getting as far away from America as possible. All right, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of these nations start joining the BRICS countries, all right, economically. So with that, that's the point. America is looking very bad on the world stage, and it's only going to get worse. It's only going to ultimately end up in the destruction of this place and the salvation of the elect of the nation of Israel. And Esau will be going into slavery after he loses everything. All right. So with that, I'll close out and give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai Ba'ashim Rakak Wadash Shalom.